This is 21-year-old Ukrainian model Daria Bulba. She mysteriously disappeared in 2016 in the center of Shanghai, where CCTV cameras are installed on every street. In the last picture, she walks along the embankment, but on the next camera, she is no longer there. The police have been looking for her for 7 years, but there is no clue. This is one of the most mysterious disappearances in Shanghai. In this video, you will learn the most incredible versions of this case. Today, Shanghai is the largest financial center in China. Almost 30 million people live here. But getting lost in such a vast city is impossible, because CCTV cameras are installed at nearly every step. China has established total control over its citizens. Big Brother is watching you. Just imagine, there are almost 13 million cameras installed in Shanghai, 439 cameras per 1,000 people, and more than 5,000 cameras per square mile. Today, Shanghai is one of the heaviest surveilled cities in the world. The cameras also have a facial recognition function, so no one can go unnoticed. This is why the disappearance of a young Ukrainian model in the center of Shanghai is such a big mystery. The last time CCTV cameras captured her was on the morning of August 6, 2016, on the embankment. Then she entered the so-called blind zone, a small section with no cameras, and since then she disappeared without a trace. The girl was last seen near Shanghai Oriental Tower between 5 and 6 in the morning. No camera could capture her again. The police, parents, and Interpol have been looking for her for 7 years, and there is not a single clue. Lian Yucheng, a sociologist from Sun Yat-sen University who studies the phenomenon of foreigners in China, said, "This is just an individualized case." Through these years of experiences and observations dealing with expats in China, he has never seen a case where a foreigner disappears. So, let's imagine what could have happened to her. Daria Bulba was an ordinary Ukrainian girl. She was born in 1995 in Odessa and grew up in a prosperous family with her mother, father, and older sister. Since childhood, she loved to sing and play the guitar. Daria was a very creative person, but as an adult, she decided to make a living by modeling. She had a stunning appearance. The girl was very tall and thin and had a beautiful face. However, there were few opportunities for the modeling career in her hometown, so the model agency suggested she work abroad. This was an excellent opportunity for a young girl to see the world, gain new experience, and earn money. Daria was lucky to work as a model in Italy, Greece, and Turkey, but she especially enjoyed working in Shanghai. The parents didn't mind and were only happy for their daughter. In 2016, Daria was 21 years old and already an adult, so she could do whatever she wanted. The parents were not worried about their daughter because it seemed she had gone to one of the safest cities on earth, with CCTV cameras on every street and extremely low crime. Attacks on people in Shanghai are so rare. Who would dare attack a young girl when there are facial recognition cameras everywhere? This big technological city simply captivated her. Twice she had a contract for 3 months. For the third time, Vice Model Agency signed a contract with her for a year, which she was pleased about. Models of Slavic appearance are in demand in China, so the girl had a lot of work. Her photos often appeared in fashion magazines and advertisements for local clothing brands. However, she did not have much money. She could not even rent a separate apartment, so she rented a 3-room apartment with other female models who became good friends. Almost every day, Daria called her parents, who continued to take an active interest in her life. For example, on August 5, 2016, a strong storm occurred in Shanghai. Mom immediately called her daughter and asked how she was doing. Daria assured her parents and said she was fine and going to work in another city for the weekend, and there she would not be able to get in touch. The weekend passed and it was impossible to reach the girl by phone on Saturday evening. Daria's friend, who lived in the same apartment, said the girl had not yet returned home. In addition, a friend said that Daria did not actually go for a photo shoot, but went to meet an unknown friend. Sometimes she didn't spend the night at home. The relatives were very worried because days passed and Daria disappeared without a trace and did not get in touch. The parents had to contact the Ukrainian Shanghai consulate so its employees could contact the local police. Shanghai police contacted the migration service and discovered that the girl had not left the country. They also checked all the hospitals and morgues, but the girl was nowhere to be found. The police reassured the parents and promised that if the girl were alive, she would definitely appear on one of the CCTV cameras with facial recognition. But 7 years have passed since then, and no one has seen Daria either alive or dead. Shanghai police put forward their version of the girl's disappearance. They noticed that in Daria's latest CCTV footage, she was wearing headphones, listening to music and dancing. The police decided that she was under the influence of some substances. In their opinion, the girl could have jumped into the water or accidentally fallen from the bridge. However, her parents could not believe that because Daria loved life and had many plans. She dreamed of becoming a famous model and making an extensive career. The version that she could have accidentally fallen into the water soon also turned out to be false. Divers searched the bay but did not find the body, and even if the girl drowned, her body, or at least her clothes, would sooner or later wash up on the shore. In this bay there are places where all the garbage that falls into the water collects, but neither in the water nor on the shore where they found a single fragment that could at least indirectly point to the missing girl. Daria's parents were very upset about the loss of their daughter. One day their patience ran out and they decided to come to Shanghai themselves. But the city police dissuaded them because to their mind they could harm the investigation. And this was not the first time the local police behaved strangely. They called Daria's friends for questioning and held them for 8 hours. The models were under tremendous pressure, and the police persuaded them to say that the missing girl had taken illegal substances, which could have led to the tragedy. When Daria's father arrived in Shanghai, he demanded to see CCTV footage of his daughter. He learned that on the morning of August 6, 2016, Daria was heading towards her home from the Holiday Inn hotel on the river's opposite bank. She probably crossed the water area on a boat, considered ordinary public transport in Shanghai. She then walked along the embankment and at some point entered a small area that was not under video surveillance. In this area, she disappeared without a trace. The police recorded that Daria last accessed social networks at 7:45 a.m. on August 6th. It is this time that is considered the time of her disappearance. The police insisted on their version. Daria was under the influence of illegal substances, which led her to the tragedy. She could have fallen into the water and her body could have been carried to sea. By the way, the girl's friends and colleagues confirmed that she actually used illegal substances. Unfortunately, there was a lot of evidence that Daria was using something. Her chats with friends appeared on the internet, where she admitted this. and said she was trying to quit. Of course, talks can be fake. However, there are also online videos where Daria communicates with her friends. In the video, she is clearly in an inappropriately drunk state. Her speech and movements are prolonged, and she herself admits that she is high. A person who uses any substances can really get into trouble. However, parents and friends did not believe that it was an accident. Their only clue was that Daria went to a dubious meeting with an unknown person before disappearing. According to Daria's friend, the young model met an unknown person in the same hotel twice before her disappearance, but this person cancelled the meeting both times. And so she went to the meeting for the third time. After that, the girl disappeared. Relatives are sure that the mysterious person who made appointments with her is probably involved in her disappearance. In their opinion, she was called to meetings the first 2 times, only to see which way the girl would go and how long it would take her to get from one point to another. The parents believe that this is how mysterious people organized the kidnapping of their daughter. As a result, the same mysterious man who invited Daria to a meeting at the Holiday Inn hotel that day was found. It turned out to be her friend, Ilya Paritet. They had a rather strange relationship. They allegedly dated for some time, but then broke up. However, they continued to play dubious games with each other. Paritet wrote that he came to see her in China and offered to meet. However, it turned out he was lying and was in another country all this time. Daria came to meeting, but he was not there. When she reached for the third time, on the day she went missing, she sat in the hotel lobby at 3 o'clock in the morning for 15 minutes and then left. The hotel security guard confirmed this information. Daria was so depressed at that moment. At the same time, according to friends, she had no money at all. She was supposed to receive a modeling fee one of these days. She didn't even have money for a taxi, so she had to go on foot. It took more than 2 hours to go from the hotel to her apartment. The girl contacted her friends by phone, but told them contradictory information. She told some of them she was going home and others that she was going to a nightclub to forget about all her problems. Where she actually went is still unknown because her trace disappeared on this embankment. She could not buy anything for herself in a nightclub. Only someone could buy her a drink and kidnap her. The kidnapping version is the most convincing today. Daria was a lovely young girl who had many fans. It's no secret that there is a significant gender imbalance in China. Many more men are there than women, so men often buy wives or slaves in other countries. Sometimes young and naive girls are deceived into coming to China for supposedly well-paid jobs, and then it turns out that they must become slaves in a brothel. Unfortunately, this is very common in China, and probably such a profitable business can only exist in secret communication with the police, who cover up these crimes. How else can we explain that in Shanghai, where cameras are installed at almost every step, a young, beautiful girl could disappear without a trace? It is difficult to imagine the scale of such a criminal business. Unfortunately, women are still a lucrative commodity these days. By the way, after Daria disappeared, one of the models stated that she allegedly saw her by chance one day in one of the nightclubs in Shanghai. According to her, Daria had a blank look, as if she was under the influence. The model called Daria by name. She turned around, but then suddenly 2 men took her away. However, there is no evidence that this is true. Perhaps it was not Daria but a girl similar to her, or the model simply lied to attract attention. In any case, the police did not investigate this. Also, under the parents' suspicion was Daria's friend. Pavel Dong, a native of Georgia. According to one information, he was just a friend of the girl. According to another, they had a romantic relationship. This guy was very suspicious, and Daria's father contacted the police to call him for interrogation. But the next day, Pavel suddenly went abroad. Then he announced that he knew who was involved in the girl's disappearance, but would only tell him if they returned the money that Daria allegedly borrowed from him. Pavel said that Daria's kidnapping was organized by his Chinese girlfriend with the participation of her police officer brother, but then Pavel suddenly renounced all his words and declared this a lie. This is all very strange, and only one conclusion can be drawn from this story. Daria has dubious immoral friends who could drag her into an unpleasant story. Who is this friend who scammed money from inconsolable parents? Who is this friend who lied about knowing something about Daria's whereabouts? Probably this so-called friend was addicted and was ready to do anything to get at least some money for a new portion of substances. There is no other explanation for this situation. Another version of Daria's disappearance suggests that competitors could have organized her abduction in the modeling business. Daria was in great demand in the modeling market, and the major brand Chanel recently signed a contract with her. However, it is difficult to believe in the conspiracy of competitors, because to organize a kidnapping in the center of Shanghai among the cameras, one must have incredible skills. In addition, there is always a lot of competition among models, and it is simply impossible to eliminate all competitors. There were also absolutely incredible versions of the disappearance. Chinese journalists suggested that Daria was connected with a Chinese specialist in the rocket and space industry who was arrested in Shanghai on suspicion of espionage. The press suggested he could use the girl as bait to recruit new agents. According to them, Daria decided to disappear to start a new life and to join an agent network. She allegedly is involved in espionage and does not contact her relatives. But it is tough to believe. It's unlikely that the girl herself wanted to disappear in such an incredible way. Internet users, in turn, put forward their versions of the girl's disappearance. Some believe that Shanghai Mafia, the so-called triad, was involved in this incident. Allegedly, some very influential people can do whatever they want, for example, kidnap girls and use them in their perversions. That's why the police can't find Daria. There may be a grain of truth in this statement. Some of Daria's friends claim that she used illegal substances and transported them from abroad to China. In China, this is a very terrible crime. There are known cases where foreign dealers selling substances were sentenced to death. Therefore, Daria could face severe punishment. Perhaps she may be kept in slavery and threatens to be imprisoned and executed if she escapes. Some journalists were so intrigued by the story of the missing model that they even turned to fortune tellers and asked them to find out where the girl is now. Some people claim they have special magical powers, say Daria is alive, has kids, and lives in a harem with someone influential. But can such statements be believed? Decide for yourself. At least for the parents who still dream of finding their daughter, there is some hope that they will someday see her. Daria's father is sure that she was kidnapped. He contacted not only the local police, but other influential people in China. They tried to help him, but then they stopped, as if there was some kind of obstacle. The girl's father also noticed that his hotel room was searched several times. As you can see, this story has many dark and unclear moments. In any case, a beautiful young girl associated with illegal substances could hardly have disappeared by accident. What do you think? What happened to the beautiful model and where is she now? Write in the comments. Goodbye, and remember, evil is near.